Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk about switching how a person can get karma on the narcissist and whether or not they really ever get their karma or what's coming to them. Part of the most difficult part of moving on, I think, for people, and I'm speaking about myself in particular, but I'm sure a lot of you feel this way. This experience wouldn't be so difficult if there was some sort of just retribution. Basically, we want, and this is a thought that creeps into my mind, not just with the primary narcissist, but when I think of all narcissists, I think of the fact that they will never get what's coming to them, or it seems like they never get what's coming to them. Why is it that people need to just get out of their way and allow them to go on the way that they go on, claiming other victims in the process? And why is it that we as a society cannot put an end to this? And the more I think about this topic, the more I realize that we have to come to a place of acceptance. You know, this world is the only world that we live in. We can't escape this world. If we want to live in it. And so we have to look at this world on the terms and policies that there are within this world. And unfortunately, we have to accept that there are destructive currents within this world. And in the other video, I talked about street gangs. You know, if you join a gang, it's usually the leaders of these gangs are narcissists, and they convince people that in order to survive in this world, you need to do violence, that it's a dog-eat-dog world, that there's kind of like a survivalist mentality among the members of a gang. But the gang in reality exists in order to proliferate itself, in order to sustain itself, and really nothing else. It doesn't care about its members. It doesn't place any value on its members. And where am I going with this? The problem is that if you think of a short-term revenge against these people, then you're always going to end up walking in a circle, because there's really no such thing as a short-term revenge for them. Their failures are long-term. Their karma gets to them years after you meet them. When I look at the narcissists that I know, they're not interested in anything. They're not able to sustain any interest in anything. They're not able to pursue any passions because they don't have any passions. They're not able to build anything in life. They're only able to destroy. And so that's their karma. Their karma comes much later in life when they've run out of things to destroy, they've run out of resources to destroy. And all they really have is this measly group of followers that allows them to parasite off of themselves. And if you're a person that is not like them, that's not the sort of life you want to live. But by ruminating on them, that's precisely the sort of life trajectory that you're going on. Because you can't sustain your focus on anything other than the hatred that you have towards them. When are they going to get their karma? When are they going to finally get what's coming to them? The reality is that you don't have to worry about that, because the fact that they are the way that they are is already a retribution for what you've gone through, because they're miserable. They wouldn't have tried to take away your productive potential if they had any. They're not capable of generating anything, of producing anything, of ever being happy with anything that they do produce, because they don't have the confidence to do anything. That's why they have to resort to this. And so to defeat them, you have to play a completely different game. You have to go and find an oasis in the desert. That's the reality. Because it would be almost as if, imagine if you had children, right? And they're going to school. And there's a very, very violent gang in the neighborhood that's recruiting children. You would do one of two things. You would either move to a different neighborhood, or you would enroll your children in special programs so that they could keep themselves busy enough not to fall into the trap of being recruited into this gang. And the same thing goes for yourself. You have to get different motives in life. Because as long as you keep fighting with these people, as long as you keep them in your head, and you envision scenarios of them failing or how you can make them fail, you're essentially in their terrain. You're in that gang. You're in that survivalist mode, whether you like it or not. So the only way, think of yourself as a school child. You have to immerse yourself in activities that enrich your soul, to no longer be enmeshed in these negative influences. Because, in all honesty, you're learning how to walk again, how to read again after this experience. You're learning how to enjoy things again. It's almost as if you had some sort of stroke.